Hello and welcome to this video in which I'm going to try and give you some ideas about creating different riffs and melodies, short patterns that we can layer on top of each other and use in our house music track. So the first thing I'm going to do is choose a drum beat, choose a bass line and choose a chord pattern to copy and paste to give me a bit more to work with. So I'm going to go for this basic drum rhythm and I'm going to copy and paste it, let's say to be 4 bars long. I'm going to go with this bass line, 4 bars long, and this chord sound, and this is the one I did the automated cutoff on. Copy and paste it. Oops, didn't copy and paste that right. There we go. Make sure you hold down Alt. Okay, and I'm going to loop this out. So now I've got a 4-bar loop to work with. This time, instead of penciling in ideas, I'm going to use my music keyboard, which you've got in front of you, to actually try and play in some ideas, and then I can edit them later on. If you really struggle with that, then I guess you could use your penciling in technique to try and come up with some ideas, but it's a good idea to be able to do both, to be able to use the pencil and to use the keyboard to record some ideas. So let's have a go. First thing I'm going to do is add another software instrument sound, and I'm going to choose a sound. I'm going to go with this electric piano actually first off. You can choose pretty much whatever sound you want and experiment a little bit. I'm going to go, yeah, I'm going to go with that sound right there, which is an electric piano sound. There we go. Okay. Now I'm going to use the note D, and I'm going to find it on the keyboard. You know where C is, because C is to the left of 2 black keys. So I'm going to find the white note above the C, and I might start my riff on a D. But I'm going to use other white notes in my riff as well. Now I'm not quite sure what I'm going to come up with, so I'm just going to have a play around and experiment. What I'm aiming to do is come up with a little short repeating pattern that I like and I think fits with the music. So I'm just going to play my track and you'll hear me experimenting, improvising a bit to see what I can come up with. Here we go. I quite like that one, came up with that one straight away, but I quite like that, so I'm going to record that into my bank of ideas. Here's my record button up there. If you can't see yours, come up to Window and find Open Transport Float, and that will open up your record button, but you should be able to see that red round record button. So I'm going to try and remember what I did, and I'm going to record it. Here we go. When you click it, you get 4 clicks to count you in. Okay, pretty happy with that. Let's have a look. Of course, as you know, you can change anything. You can lengthen notes, you can shorten notes, you can move notes up and down to different pitches, and you can move notes left and right to change the rhythm. What I might do with this is quantize it. Now this means it will correct the timing, and remember we said near the beginning that everything in dance music needs to be on the grid. It needs to be perfectly in time. So one way to do that is to come over here and find this word quantize. Your menu might be closed down, so you need to click to open it up. You should be able to find that word quantize. You can see it's off right now. So let's go to the menu and we're going to select 1/16. In dance music, you want to quantize your work to 1/16. That's going to correct the timing. Let's have a listen to that first riff that I've played in now. let's unmute my chords so I can have a listen with the chords as well. Not bad, I want to keep that, but I want to build up a bank of little ideas, little melodies, little repeating riffs. So I'm going to mute that one now. I'm going to add another software instrument sound. I'm going to choose a different sound this time. I'm going to try and come up with something else. Let's have a look. I'm going to go for this monophonic synth. Now this will only play one note at a time, but that's probably okay for the sort of riff that I'm going to create. Let's see what sounds we've got. Analog bass, lots of bass sounds. A house organ. Let's have a listen to that. Might be useful. Let's give it a go. Let's try and come up with a different pattern now. So I'm just going to experiment. I'm just going to improvise and see what I can come up with. I'm not going to use any black notes. I'm going to use the white notes because I know they'll probably fit with the rest of my track. So here it comes. Something like that might work. I'm going to record that into my bank of ideas. There's the record button. I click it and I'm going to get the four clicks. See if I can remember what I did. Here it comes. Simple riff. I'm going to keep that and I'm going to quantize it. There's the quantize. I want to make sure it's perfectly in time. 16ths. Again, if you play it almost right but it goes a little bit wrong, double click on your piano roll and move things around the way you want them. You can correct and edit on that piano roll, don't forget that. Let's have a listen to that one. I wonder what it sounds like layered up with that other little riff I did earlier. Let's have a listen. Maybe I might choose not to have those both going at the same time in my piece, but who knows? I'm not sure yet. We can make those decisions later. I'm going to come up with one more. And this time, I'm going to use some chords, I think. I'm going to add a software instrument track. And I'm going to choose, this time, okay, yeah, we'll go for that vintage electric piano. I'm going to open it up and choose something from its menu, or rather, I'm going to keep this sound that it's come up with. Let's have a listen to it. Yeah, it's pretty good. Right, this time I'm going to use a D chord. So I'm going to find my note D above the C. Remember, C is to the left of two black keys. So I'm going to find my D. I'm going to play that D. I'm going to miss the next white note and play the F. Miss the next white note and play the A. There's my D minor chord. And I'm just going to keep that shape, but move it up and down like this. Up and down one white note. I can go up and down a bit more. I'm just going up and down, keeping that shape, keeping my fingers spaced apart like that. And I'm going to try and record a house piano riff. Here we go. Just going to practice first. So I'm going to press the space bar and play around for a bit. Something like that might be good. Here it goes, I'm going to record it. And guess what? Whoops, disappeared. There it is. I'm going to quantize that. There we go. So that may sound a bit complicated, but all you need to do is find that D minor chord. So the note D, play, miss the next white note, play the one after that, miss the next white note, play the one after that. Get that D minor chord, keep your fingers in that shape with that spacing, and practice moving all three fingers up and down by one white note, and you can come up with a house piano riff. Let's see what mine sounds like. Again, if you want to edit it, you double click and you have a look in the piano roll. You may decide that you want to lengthen or shorten some of the chords. Let me show you a good way to do that. Let's say we want to lengthen this chord here. We've got those three notes playing at the same time. Click, whoops, don't do that, delete that. Put your pencil away, pick up your pointer, scroll over those three notes so they're all highlighted, and then drag them and they'll all lengthen out like that. So you can lengthen and shorten your chords. Let's have a listen. I'm pretty happy with that, but I might do another alternative one as well. So you can see what I'm doing is gradually building up a bank of little ideas that I could use in my piece. I would suggest that you want at least 2 riffs or melodies like I've got here, maybe at least one of those house piano type ideas, and I mean you can do as many as you want, at least 2 riffs, 1 house piano idea. I would suggest, if it was me, I might do at least another 4 or 5 ideas so that I've got a bank to choose from.